Oh my goodness. I'm so thankful for today. Not only is it kind of light outside as I'm going home, which I have been waiting for, but I feel like I learned a lot of really valuable lessons and God was really good to me today, and I want to share how. So yesterday I had a really rough day at work. The reason it was such a rough day at work was because my patient, I had one patient who just needs a lot of different interventions constantly. He's nearing the end of his life and he's not doing great. All of his organs, his kidneys and his liver are shutting down, and it's starting to really it was starting to really worry us, I think, today. I thought he was, well, I'm not even at today yet, just updating you on yesterday. He wasn't doing good, he needed a lot of attention, and then I get another patient on top of that. So we had a lot of things to do as a unit, and my charge nurse ended up getting two patients. Like she took a transfer from med-surg, and then they gave her an admission from the ER. And that was really hard for me because we hadn't gotten our break, like our lunch breaks yet, and they were giving her like admissions and transfers, and it was like, those patients need someone to take care of them, yes, but it's like, I just felt like there should have been some break relief or some sort of solution to, it makes sense that we should be getting our breaks. When I told my husband about it later, he was telling me, just go take your break, like, you're entitled to break, just go take it. But I was telling him, I'm like, it's not like that. You can't just take a break whenever you want in the ICU or really in the hospital, because you need to have proper coverage. And if nobody can cover you because your neighbor's patient is more critical than yours, or they're really busy, if your patient starts to crash and there's nobody there to intervene and do what needs to be done, then your patient could literally pass away when you're supposed to be there, or somebody's supposed to be watching them. So it's just, it's not as easy as just leaving to take your break when you're taking care of people, especially in the ICU. So that was a dilemma for me, because I'm like, we're supposed to be getting our breaks. So I had an opportunity actually today to bring that up with my supervisor. We were doing it was like a 90-day review, and we were just kind of, it wasn't a review of my performance, which I'm sure is coming. However, it was a review, get this, of the hospital and how well they have been doing at orienting me and onboarding me. And it's been about 90 days. I've reached my 3-month threshold. I've crossed it, you guys. So excited, because at this point, it's been proven to me anecdotally that the 90-day mark is like so amazing for just, your trust has been kind of built. You feel there's like this magical sweet spot about 90 days. I don't know why. But yeah. So it was nice to have them present that, because I've never had an employee or like an organization do that for me. They want me to give them feedback on how it's been going. So I had the opportunity to do that. I had 2 questions, and I had one concern, and that was the whole breaks thing. And I was like telling her about it, and she goes, it used to be much worse. They've been working on it. So I'm not saying that made me feel any better, but I felt sad for the staff that worked there before. She was talking about how they used to be 3 to 1, and then inappropriate, I don't know, like some of the nurses just weren't very attentive to their patients, and they've had a lot of positive changes. That was amazing. So today, I was actually extra. So I was treated with gratitude for coming in. Didn't expect that. Never been, I don't know. Maybe it's just been a while since I've been extra and helped out. That's very possible. But my supervisor goes, "Thanks for coming in extra." And I know that she's grateful because if I wasn't there, she would have had to take a patient assignment, and these patients were actually really high acuity, meaning they needed more attention than maybe like traditional or like a standard. So today I was grateful for because one of my patients that I admitted yesterday transferred off of the ICU because they got better enough to be off of ICU and transferred to another med surge, for example. And then my one patient, he was having really low blood sugars. Before I got to work, he had a blood sugar of 23. That was the lowest I'd ever seen personally. And they had to give him, we call it an amp of D50. It's a special protocol to help. It's basically really concentrated. It's almost like syrup, sterile sugar that you put through the IV to help their blood sugar come up. And it did, but then I had checked right away when I got on shift because it sounded like an hour ago he had gone down and they gave him the medicine, and then it came up, but then it had been another hour, and I'm thinking I should probably check that just to see where we're at. And I checked it was like in the 20s, and I'm like, again? So I reinitiate the hypoglycemia protocol and give him what I'm supposed to. Recheck it, it's only like 80 or something like that. 70, 80, and I'm like, really? So I know I have to recheck again soon because he didn't really respond a lot. And I'm trying to, I'm thinking this whole time, I'm like, his organs are shutting down. I've seen this before, people who are slowly decompensating. It's just one of those moments where you don't want it to be true, but it's happening, and my patient is full code, meaning I gotta be ready for an emergency situation at any moment. Even though he's not doing well, family and the patient, he wants everything done no matter what. So that means even if his heart stops, even though his body would not recover, he would not survive this coding. If he survived, he would probably code again in the next few hours. So it's hard because we know that that's very uncomfortable. That's a very painful way to go. So instead of being allowed to go in peace, you would have your chest compressed and a breathing tube stuck down your throat. And that's your last moments alive. Anyway, we have a hard time with this, but it's people's own decisions. I think we just wish that, I think in our minds as healthcare providers, we don't think that anyone would choose it if they knew the reality. But sometimes people surprise you, and I talked a little bit about this in yesterday's video, so I won't actually do that right now, but blood sugar ended up coming up because we initiated a D10 infusion, which is sugar water. So his blood sugar came up, and then he started to sing later. But he was like doing that blank stare out in front. He was just like staring off into space. Like I've seen them do that before they pass away, and it's just an ominous feeling. Like you just feel like they're on death's doorstep, and you're like, ugh. just are worried that the moment is gonna just happen anytime, like. But I know that if we didn't correct the sugar issue, he would have probably gone down that direction. So yeah, corrected that, and he was singing by the end of the day and resting and more comfortable, so I guess I gave him a little bit more time. Overall, it was a good day. My charge kept me one patient because of how frequent I had to check his blood sugar, and I was so grateful. It was like, I feel like that is the version of an oasis in the ICU, is taking care of one patient. I guess it depends on how busy it is. It could be very busy. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you in a future video.